G'day, I'm Mike Hayes and welcome to Jazz Guitar Chord-melody, part 43. I think most of you will agree there's hardly anything more satisfying than hearing the audio photograph of your arrangement come together. And that's why we're here again today to work on expanding our jazz harmonies and to help find those elusive sounds that we hear in our head and locate them on the guitar fingerboard. Now, I know you won't be able to wait to get your hands on these new chord shapes and to wrap your ears around these new chord sounds. So I'll stop yakking and we'll get cracking. But before we do, just a quick reminder to subscribe if you haven't already, so you don't miss out on any of the good stuff. Okay, let's go see what's in store for us today. In today's session, we're continuing the concept that we presented in our last video, where we set about creating new harmonies from the C major 6 diminished scale. Let's pick up from where we left off. We'll start with the C 6th with the G bass. To find our new chord, we're going to raise the note E in the C 6th chord. We're going to raise it up to the next scale tone note, which in this instance would be the note F. And by doing this, the chord that we create is a G9 suspended fourth. No doubt some of you will recognise this chord as an F with a G bass, or maybe as a D minor 11, and so on. And it's important to know chords by their aliases. However, the way I'm naming the chords in this session is from the lowest note. So I'm identifying this chord as a type of a G chord. Okay, let's have a listen to these chords. Do you remember the routine from the last session? I'm going to sustain each chord for 4 beats, and I'm going to play the chord sequence twice. I'm starting with C6 with the G bass. Okay, on to the next chord, which would be G sharp diminished. And this time we're going to raise the note F in the G sharp diminished. We're going to raise that to the next scale note, which in this instance would be the note G. And by doing this, our new chord that we've created is an A flat diminished major 7th. Remember, in our last session we came across the F diminished major 7. Incidentally, this A flat diminished major 7th is the same chord as F diminished major 7th. Remember, we discussed the idea that this chord has the same ability to repeat itself every 3 frets because it has that diminished quality about it. Let's have a listen to these 2 chords now. Hopefully by now you're beginning to recognise the sound of some of these new chords. Certainly the diminished major 7th chord should be pretty easy to identify. On to our next chord, which is a C6 with an A bass. Once again, it's the same process where we move this G note up to the next scale tone note, which in this instance is the note G sharp. And when we do this, the chord that's produced is an A minor with a major 7. Let's have a listen to these 2 chords. as I mentioned in the previous lesson, it's important to listen to these sounds over and over again, because what we're setting out to do is to develop our skills in selectivity. In the same way that a painter must have total control over their selectivity of colours, and a writer must have total control over their selectivity of the alphabet, a musician must have total control over their selectivity of notes. And it's important to be able to hear these sounds in your head before you play them on the guitar. In fact, the guitar should be the last link in the process. Okay, on to the next chord, which is B diminished. And this time we're moving the G sharp in the B diminished up to the next scale note, which is the note A. And when we do this, we end up creating a B half diminished chord. Let's have a listen to these two. And now for the last two chords in the scale, which are simply the same as the first two chords, only an octave higher. So we're moving the A note in the C6 chord up to the next scale note, which is the note B, and that of course produces C major 7. Let's have a listen to how they sound. Okay, it's time to review all the new harmonies that we've been busy creating. So I'm just going to play them as a scale, ascending and descending. And then once we've done that, I'm going to show you how we'd apply all these new sounds in an arrangement situation. So firstly, let's run through all the new chords, ascending and descending. As you can hear, we certainly have some new harmonies to work with. I'm going to play firstly a 2-bar melody, and then we'll set about harmonising this melody using the major 6 diminished scale chords, and then we'll have a listen to another version using chords selected from our new harmonies that we've just created. Okay, here's the melody first. Here's that melody harmonised using chords from the major 6 diminished scale. And now the same melody using the harmonies that we've just been working on. Well, there you have it. That's the same melody given two different harmonizations. Is one better than the other? Not really, it just depends what you're going for. But what we have achieved is double the amount of harmonic options we have when we're harmonizing a tune. And that goes a long way to helping you develop your own style on guitar. So that's it for this session, folks. Don't forget, if you have any questions or comments, to pop them in the comments section below this video. And as always, I look forward to catching up with you again next time. Bye for now.